If you're available to everyone, you will be valuable to no one. And this is because energy is currency, and here you are giving away your energy as if it's free. You see, most people think that being kind is all about being available all the time. Being kind is saying yes even when you want to say no. But in reality, when you continuously allow yourself to be available for everybody and everything, you're teaching yourself and you're teaching people that you have no boundaries. Therefore, this makes it easy for people to get comfortable with walking all over you, putting fear in your plans, holding you back from what it is that you want. And when you're really manifesting, calling something bigger into your life, it's so important that you are protecting your energy. So today we're gonna shift our frequency from being the girl who is everywhere and transforming to the woman who is selective of her peace. So if you're tired of leaking your power and you're ready to start gatekeeping your peace, you made it to the right place. Make sure you guys are subscribed because in the next 15 minutes, I'm gonna show you how to call your power back, how to protect your energy, and how to stand strong in yourself without feeling the need to be available, people pleasing to every single person. Let's get started. Firstly, you cannot build and reinvent your life in spaces and environments where people feel comfortable to interrupt your peace. People feel comfortable to stop you from what you're doing because they feel so entitled over your reality because you've given people so much access to you. For example, maybe you're the kind of person who feels like as soon as you get a text message, you have to instantly respond. Even if you're busy, even if you are not available at the moment, you feel like you need to respond because you may think, oh, well, it's rude if I don't, or oh, I don't want this person to think I'm ignoring them. If you have vocalized what you're doing for yourself, whether you're creating a business, whether you're starting the gym, maybe you're starting to eat healthier, and people are interrupting you and you're not reaching out, those people that are really made to be in your life and understand your mission, your goal, what you're doing, they will respect the fact that maybe you don't have the time right now. They will respect the fact that your time is now valuable. If you do not show people that your time is valuable, they will continue to call your phone. They will continue to expect a response right away. They will continue to try to invite you places where they know it's unfulfilling to you. You literally have to start training people how to treat you. If you continuously give yourself access to everyone, people will feel comfortable to, try to push you into doing what they want you to do. Maybe you're the kind of person that right now you need to focus on yourself because maybe you're trying to manifest more abundance, more money. Maybe you're trying to better your life and, indulge yourself and put yourself in healthier habits, routines. And you have these friends and people that are so used to you going clubbing and drinking and smoking every day for fun. Maybe that's their definition of fun, but maybe your definition has changed because now you're focused on something else. Now, when these people know that you truly value yourself because you're actually putting the boundaries to say, no, I can't go out tonight, or no, I'm not going to respond to this message right away. I'm going to get this done. And then when I have the time, I'll respond. People will start respecting you. They will start recognizing, okay, this woman is clearly so focused and busy on this thing. It must mean she really wants it, and therefore I'm going to respect her. And those people who don't respect you simply means that they don't belong in your life. Because if a person belongs in your life, if a person is supposed to be in this next chapter with you, they wouldn't judge you for it. They wouldn't make you feel bad. They wouldn't pressure you into going to these places or doing these things. They would respect you. And if anything, they would rise up with you. You can't allow people to get comfortable with constantly having access to you, because then the minute you want to do something different, they start judging you. They start thinking that you're bougie, that you think you're all that. They feel like because they know you so much that they're able to say whatever they want about you or complain or be upset because, oh, if they get upset, that's going to be you being like, oh, well, they're upset, let me change it. No, do not change what you're doing for anything, for anybody. Do not lose your focus because of other people or other things. Do not lose your focus because you want to fulfill somebody else's needs when you haven't even poured into your own cup. So many people, they shrink their light trying to fit into society, trying to fit into social norms, fit into their family members, their friends that probably do not fulfill them anymore, or probably aren't even adding value to their life. So here you are shrinking yourself, your light, so that you can please other people's boredom. You start making their boredom a priority over yourself and over your mental health, your physical health, whatever it is that you want for you, when you're constantly giving, so that, oh, this person doesn't be mad at me or this person doesn't judge me. You need to be willing to get up and walk and do things on your own, because you are the creator of your own reality. It's not up to anybody else. You were born into this world alone, you will die alone. So therefore, the things that you have to do to become the greatest version of you requires you to do a lot of things on your own. You have to learn to say no without over-explaining yourself, right? Maybe you have these friends or these family members who are so used to you coming to every party, every event, being the life of the party, being loud, being out there. But you realize that you being loud and being out there and trying to fit in with this group isn't really fulfilling you. So now you want to focus on yourself. It's okay to do that. All right? It's okay to hold in your energy because people will actually want to get to know you more when you're actually protecting your peace, right? For example, let's say that you go to the gym and there's always this one girl at the gym who's always talking, who's just leaning on machines, who's just always on her phone, taking pictures. She just wants to like be there chit-chatting and chill, right? So no one really recognizes the work that she's putting in because she's always just there. She's always just available. She's always just talking. She's always making herself. Versus the woman who comes into the gym, has her headphones on, is quiet, goes straight to working out, gets her 45 minutes, an hour workout, doesn't say much, picks up her things and leaves. This person is going to stand out more because she's more mysterious. She's collecting her energy. Nobody really knows what she's thinking or how she feels or what she has going on. So therefore, the woman who is protecting herself, right? People are going to notice the results in her work a lot more because she's not out here telling everybody what she's doing, what she has going on as it's happening. She just shows up. She shows up with more confidence. She shows up with her gym body. She shows up with more abundance, more money. And people are going to be more drawn to her because, wow, how did she get this? Because she's not over explaining. She's not telling people what she's doing. She's simply not available. And it's nobody's job to try to question you and try to get to the bottom of what you're doing, why you're doing this. It's nobody's job. Okay? Because at the end of the day, you're giving people, when you're oversharing your life and you're oversharing what you're doing, what you have going on, you're giving people access and permission to put fear in your plans. You're giving people access and permission to feel like they can say whatever they want about your life because you're telling them, right? You're telling all these people. So now they feel entitled to judge, to go around and tell other people. And you never know who's preying on your downfall. You never know who is wishing bad on you because a lot of people, they may want you to do good, but they may not want you to do better than them. All right. And this leads to secret animosity. This leads to like people sending you bad energy. And it doesn't even have to be anything serious. It could be word of mouth, things that they're saying, the way they perceive you, right? So you don't want to give anybody access to like getting in the way of your blessing, blocking your own blessings. So when you're oversharing, you're telling people what you're doing and why, and you're over explaining, you're giving away your power and your energy. You want to keep that to yourself. If you don't want to go to an event or a party or whatever because you know that the energy is not going to serve you, because you know that when you leave parties, typically you feel drained, you feel tired, you feel overwhelmed and anxious, like you don't have to go. And it's nobody's job you don't have to explain. Because then the moment you explain, what's happening next? They're making excuses. Oh, well, there's not going to be a lot of people. Oh, it's going to be different. And then they start what? What do they start doing? They start trying to convince you to go. And that's when the guilt shame comes in. That's when people start making comments. And then you start feeling bad and you start feeling forced to go there. Now you're in a party that you don't want to be in. But hey, at least your friends are having fun. That's not the way to go. You need to pour into yourself. If you need peace, if you need quiet, you can go ahead and say no. It's nobody's job to understand why you need that peace and quiet. You literally have to start telling people, I'm just not up for it tonight. I just don't want to. It's just not something that serves me. Oh, but why? It doesn't matter. Because the why isn't going to change anything. When you explain people why you can't go or why you don't want to, it's not going to change anything. The answer is still going to be the same. You don't want to go. You don't feel like it. And it's okay. You are your own person. And you have every right to say no. And I think so many people, they feel afraid to say no, maybe because of their upbringing, or maybe they're afraid to be judged, or maybe they're afraid to be rejected. It's okay. If these people cannot understand you and that one situation of you not wanting to go separates you from these friends or these family members, it's because that is what's made to happen. What's for you will never pass you by. What's for you will never leave your life. But you can't cling on to it and hold on to it in fear and switch your personality and keep people pleasing, draining yourself just to keep these relationships, just to keep these things alive. You can't. You have to surrender and say, no, I don't want to keep doing the same things that I used to do. I don't want to keep doing these negative habits. I don't want to keep this routine going, and that's okay with me. When you're always showing up for somebody else, even when you don't want to, you're literally training yourself, you're training other people that their boredom is more of a priority than your growth. And that should never be the case. Your growth should always come first. You should always aim to be better every single day, even if it's 1%. You should always aim to want to take better care of your body, your health, your mentality, especially if you want to manifest more beautiful things into your life. How do you expect to manifest the dream home that you want, the dream body that you want, when you're allowing other people to distract you and knock you off your path? How do you expect to say, hey, I want to be able to manifest, $10,000, but every time that you have money in your bank account, your friends are inviting you to do this, do that, do this, do that, and you're splurging on this money, you're not allowing yourself to save. You're not allowing yourself to focus on your finances because you're trying to be in the mix all the time. And I don't want to be the lame one. I don't want to be the lame friend. I don't want to say nothing about me. If they understand you, they will not judge you. If they are judging you, that is literally a sign. That is literally God showing you that these people are not for you. And that is okay. You have to be okay with letting go of people and situations, environments that don't serve you in order to create space for better. Because if these people are not understanding and respecting your growth, then hey, that shows you that, you know what, there are people out there that will. But in order to meet those people, in order to get to that point in my life, I have to let go of these things. I have to let go of these toxic habits. I have to let go of these friends. I have to let go of sitting around and just indulging in these negative things that are not serving me. Like I said, your energy is a currency. Your energy, your personality is energy. Everything about you is energetic. You don't need anybody trying to create blockages in your energetic field, putting fear and negative thoughts into your energetic field. You don't want that for yourself. And this is why I find it so important to set access hours to your energy. Really give yourself that time to embrace yourself, your own solitude, because when you allow yourself to sit in silence with yourself, and this can be so hard for a lot of people, you are literally tapping more into your intuition when you're alone, right? Because you're able to sit there, you're able to become the observer of your thoughts, think about what things are making you feel good, what things are not. When you really sit with yourself, you figure yourself out, right? You start thinking, how do I feel when I put myself in these spaces? Do I get anxious? Do I feel calm, right? And you start kind of, but when you're around other people, like I said, when you're sharing your life to people, of course, these people are going to feel entitled to give you a response. They're going to feel entitled to say something about your life. And so they'll start giving their own opinions. They'll start saying what they think, how they feel. But what you have to understand is everyone else's opinion is only a reflection of their reality and their life. So you may want to do something that it may feel scary, but intuitively you know that you can do it. But the people around you may start putting fear in your plans. Oh, it's not possible for anybody like us to get rich. It's not possible for any of us to get into that kind of school because, we grew up in this environment. But if you believe in yourself, you should follow your heart and your intuition. Don't worry about what other people think. Don't worry about what other people fear because it's a reflection of them. And I think that's the thing that so many people struggle with is like they feel like they're doing these things for them, but in reality, they're doing a lot of these things because of their family, what their family expects of them, what their friends want of them, what society teaches us, like what is the definition of successful, what is like, you know what I mean? There's people that literally spend years and years going to school and college and getting that degree and going into this field that they don't even really like, but because their family members pushed them and said, oh, you're so smart, you could do this. And it may be true. Maybe you are smart. Maybe you do have the skills to become a doctor or a lawyer. But internally, if it's not something that you want to do, you don't have to do it just because somebody else says, oh, you're good at it, you should do it. Find what really works for you. And then the way to do that is literally being with yourself, embracing your own solitude. And it can get lonely. It can get lonely because a lot of us are conditioned to always feeling like we need to depend on others and we need to seek for validation externally outside of ourselves. But in reality, the moment you stop seeking externally, the moment you stop seeking validation externally is the moment you really find yourself and what you like, what you want to do with yourself. Not based off of society, not based off what your parents want, not based off of what your friends are saying that is trendy and cool, but what do you want? So one of the things that I do to give myself a moment of like solitude and being able to think for myself is I'll give myself time to text my friends and whatever if they want to talk, but I'm always going to set a boundary, all right? So I'll have, at the end of the night, I put my phone on Do Not Disturb. Once my phone's on Do Not Disturb, I'm not texting, I'm not calling anybody, all right? Unless it's an emergency, whatever. But I'm not doing it. Because in that time, before I go to bed, I want to make sure that I journal. I want to make sure I meditate. I want to make sure that I set my intentions. I want to make sure that I'm doing things without somebody texting me something that's going to get me anxious, without somebody sending me a video that's going to put fear in me, without somebody sending me something that's distracting me. I want to be able to raise my vibration. So I give myself permission to do that. So literally the old me was always trying to be available even at my own expense. Like when I was in high school, so I had a sister who had a kid And I was always watching her kid. I love kids, so I was always watching her kid. I was always offering. I was always just there. Every time, anytime she asked me, I always said yes. And it came to a point where she would ask me, "Oh, can you pick him up from school?" And I was still in high school, mind you. So my last period class, I would skip my last period class just to go pick up her son in school. Why? Because I didn't want to disappoint her. Because I didn't want her to feel like, oh, well, she said no this time. I didn't want there to be an inconvenience, and I didn't want to feel like it was my fault. But at the end of the day, I had to learn, you know what? One, respectfully, it was never my kid. Respectfully, like, it's up to the parent to come up with a schedule that's going to help them, right? But me feeling like I was always responsible for everybody and everything, I didn't think that way at the moment. So it came to a point where I had to learn to say, no, I can't today. I got to do this. I got to do that. And even if they get upset, and even if they're, man, but you could do it tomorrow, or man, even though they felt the way that they felt, I can't do it today. And I had to learn. And that can be really, really hard, especially growing up as a people pleaser, especially feeling responsible for everything. But what you have to realize is that a lot of those habits that we have and those tendencies we have to people please and to try to fix everything, it comes from our upbringing. It comes from things that we've picked up subconsciously over the years. Maybe we went through trauma. Maybe we grew up in environments where we were always given all this responsibility at a young age. So we grow up into those tendencies. But in reality, that is just your nervous system responding, reacting to that. But you can fix that. You can regulate your nervous system. And this is when I talk about how affirmations are really, really, really important. When you want to manifest something, and it's not just about saying affirmations, it's about tapping in and believing. But how do you believe? You start regulating your nervous system. You start allowing yourself to know that you're safe. It's safe to say no. It's safe to be with yourself. It's safe to come up with things on your own. It's safe to go within. But you see, so many of us are taught growing up that it's not safe to do what's right for us because, oh, I'm the adult, you're the kid, you don't know what you're talking about. So we always feel like we have to please our parents and our elders, but then we forget about ourselves and we start neglecting ourselves. And then we get older and we don't know who we are, what we want for ourselves. We don't know how to attract better things into our lives. We start feeling like failures. We feel like we're doing so much, burning ourselves out, working, doing all these extra things, but we're not even happy with the life that we're living. We don't even have, the money that we want. We don't even have we don't feel as fulfilled. We don't feel at peace because you're doing things and you're looking externally. You're not going within. So now, instead of me being available, I literally allow myself to rest. I allow myself to sit back. Even if I'm not super, super busy, the way people would define busy, if I want to sit in my room and I want to meditate for 30 minutes right now, and I don't want to go and have lunch with you, or I don't want to go and do you this favor, I have every right to say, not today, I need this time for me. And that's me calling in my energy. When you learn to create a peaceful, quiet environment for you that is uninterrupted, you're literally teaching people how much you value yourself. And if they may not understand it at first, but like I said, the people that get it, the people that are made to be in your life, they'll eventually start to respect that. They'll eventually start to see that and respect you like, damn, this is a woman that values her time. This is a woman that values herself. And I'm gonna respect that, People need to respect you. People are literally gonna start learning that you have a life outside of them. You have a life that doesn't revolve around them. And I feel like a lot of people tend to forget this. And especially for older generations, I feel like a lot of parents, they tend to have kids and they look at their kids as an extension of them rather than looking at their kid and understanding that their kid is just also a spiritual being who's experiencing life in this vessel and is learning to be a human that's learning how to figure themselves out. And obviously it's good to lead your child, to give your child advice, to be there for your child, but your child is not an extension of you. So this is the best way to teach people, I'm not an extension of you, we reflect on each other, yes, but I'm not, I'm my own person. And you got to show people that you're your own person. And that's when people are really going to respect you because they're like, damn, she really is her own person. She knows what she wants for herself. You really have to start pouring into yourself first. Instead of waiting for a text to tell you to start doing something, get up and start doing it. Instead of waiting for a text for somebody to literally create something for you, start creating it yourself. Start going to the gym, start working on your goals, start pouring into things that are fulfilling you. Stop sitting around waiting for somebody else to bring light into your life. Because people are not made to come into your life to create this image for you. You are made to create your reality, and people are made to come into your life to add to that reality, to add to whatever it is that you have going on. They don't just come in and you depend on them for every single thing. That's just not how life works. So instead of centering your days around other people and what they want or what they have going on, Center your day around you, because what you focus on grows and your life should be a part of that. And this creates so much peace in your life because now you feel so much more fulfilled rather than always feeling dependent on other people. And I say this as somebody who used to be super codependent because I never really knew who I was growing up. I never really was tapped into myself. Like my family was my first bullies. I got severely bullied. I went through a lot of trauma, a lot of things in my life. I didn't really know who I was. And because of that, it allowed me to develop a negative habit where I would always cling on to other people. I would do what other people wanted to do. I would try hard to fit in, and I would never look internally at myself about what do I want. And this is why now I'm creating this channel and I'm reflecting and I'm doing what it is that I want to do. And honestly, this allows you to tap in and become someone who is full of depth, who is full of purpose, who is full of direction. And that's the goal. You want to be a person who is tapped into their purpose. We all have a purpose. And so many people, so many of us are lost. So many of us feel like we don't know our purpose because we're following somebody else's route. We're focusing so much on people pleasing and external validation that we're not focusing on what we really want. How do you expect to find your purpose if you're living for other people and you're not living for you? Like I said, the right people, they will not be confused on your boundaries. They would not be confused on your changes. If anything, they would applaud you. And not that you need to look externally for validation, approval, but when you do find your people, like your people will celebrate you. But those that don't, like, don't worry about it. You don't necessarily need an applause. You don't need a validation. You don't need an appreciation post. Like, you don't need any of that. But just know that when there are people that don't give it to you, don't stress about it. And when there are people that do give it to you, own it, love it, indulge in it, because it's beautiful. It's beautiful to find your people. It's beautiful to find your soul tribe. And that's honestly the mission that I'm in now, is like finding my soul tribe. And so if you're on the same mission and you're trying to shift your reality, reprogram your mind, find the people that are made for you, then you're in the right channel. My name is Danny, and don't forget to follow me for more ways to protect your energy. Bye.